Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The New Nasty Boys. I'm your co-host this morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you decide to watch or listen to this damn thing, Billy DeVore. And sitting to the left of me is my co-host,
Chris Weir.
Give it up for Chris Weir!
Please, put your shirts back on. That's all right.
This is the episode titled, Fuck It, We'll Do It Live! So, here at Big Ski's Bar. And thank you guys for coming. This is so exciting. There is about 4,000 people here.
Yeah,
it's
we
packed to the
could
gills.
show it. The fire marshal has already been through, so we'll try to get through this.
Yeah, we're going to power through, figure it out. Your emergency exits are very tight. So, thank you. And then we have a special guest live and in person for the first time on the pod of the San Ranto podcast and the Bleacher Bum Band, Danny Rockett.
Hey!
Give it up for Danny!
I'm here representing the second place Cubs. How you doing?
How about that? It was so fun coming on your podcast early in the year and being like, oh, the first place Reds are going to keep doing it. And then the Brewers brewered.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we've all had our turn being in first place, I think.
I don't know.
Where
that
you
we
did it?
have. Yeah,
You're the only team?
There might have been one day when we beat the Brewers on opening day, and then we were in first place for a day, maybe two, maybe the entire series. But I think that was it. The first week of April, I think it's been since.
Oh.
Down there.
You know what? Still not bad. We've all taken turns at the top.
Pirates were up there for a while.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then,
Cardinals weren't.
Yeah.
yeah! Fuck the Cardinals!
We can all agree there.
That is exactly where we can agree. So let's talk shit about every team in our division. We'll start with them. How fucking fun is it that they're dog shit?
Well, it's particularly spicy for Cubs fans, being that their big offseason acquisition was Wilson Contreras, who Cub fans were crying about losing, and myself included, by the way. I mean, he's a hell of a player, but they let him go. He goes to our rival team, talking smack about, oh, now I'm on the right side of the rivalry, and that's what you do when you're a player. You do those things.
Yeah.
But either way, it made everybody hate him, and we all got mad, and we're like, we're done with you, to see it go so poorly for him, to get benched, and we almost let off the team. I think they almost DFA'd him. Like we almost, took him back and had the Cardinals pay his salary. I think was rumored to be almost happening. No, but it's particularly beautiful, and for them to have some of the Arenado, to have them at Goldschmidt, to have really the best players in our division, and still fall so flat because they refuse to add any pitching to the old horse of Wainwright and stuff. And last place.
Last place.
I love it. It's great. It's
Put it
terrific.
in a time capsule right now.
Yeah.
Bury it to be dug up in 1,000 years. So in 1,000 years, when a different society digs up this time capsule, don't think of the Cardinals as this terrible franchise that could not win.
This very sad organization, the lowly Cardinals.
Oh, God, it just has a nice ring to it. My 33 rotations on this goddamn rock, I don't think I can ever say that the Cardinals have been in last place until this year.
Feels good.
It feels great. Just fuck them. And then Jordan Walker's fumbling out of the blocks. That felt good. This uber hyped prospect for him, the Cardinal way and all that fucking shit. And it's just like, no, he sucked for a while, and they had to rebuild him. It just feels good.
Yeah, for everything to go wrong for them, it's almost as good as things going right for the Cubs.
Seriously.
Like even if we went 500 and ended up the middling team that we performed as most of this year, I would venture to say that the Cardinals being in last place would feel like a division championship.
Seriously. I'm so glad that the Reds are actually doing well enough to where that isn't the most exciting part of this whole year, is that the Cardinals are doing poorly. Because normally that'd be something we'd be rooting for. It's just like the demise of that organization. Oh, we got some Conies coming in here.
Yeah, we do. We've got Conies, we've got La Rosas, and we have Malort. And are we putting all three together at the end?
Hell yeah.
You bet your ass we are.
Don't cross the streams. That's when you travel in the future. Malort and chili when it crosses.
Ooh, buddy, that sounds like a recipe for some wet pants.
Well, can I ask you a question, not to get off the trashing about the teams, which I love
Please.
doing,
Yeah.
but as a Reds fan, and you've had a surprise season, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe some of your dudes arriving too early. Does that make it, to get off the bottom of the basement where everybody
Right.
predicted you? Is that like almost a victory in and of itself, even if you don't get the division?
100%.
Or a wild card berth or something?
Yeah, I
Are you
think-
still okay with it all?
Oh, for sure. Like, taking everything into consideration, all the complaints you hear, like, on Reds Nation, online, it needs to be taken with, like, a very little grain of salt, because we were staring at a 100-loss season last year, and the fact that you can see the strength of what's going to be the future of this organization is so strong at this point, you can't help but be, like, thoroughly thrilled if you're a Reds fan, regardless of what happens. At the end of the year here, they're a contender in September, so that's huge.
Yeah, we haven't been able to say that. Like, even in 21, we were just a contender in late July, early August. And that's when the front office spent a ton of money going into free agency, going into 2020. And then a thing happened and stopped that. The thing, you know what we're talking about.
Well, we didn't have that thing in Chicago. We just drank a bunch of Malort, and they got it passed over us. Like,
Cured everything.
Like
yeah.
the angel of death.
Yeah, it's not Jepsen who makes Malort, it's Pfizer.
Yeah.
I got the Johnson & Johnson, my lord.
Lori Lightfoot was like, don't stay home, chug Malort. Get a lazy eye. It's fun. So then they did that, and then we had that stretch with a really fun team with Winker, Castellanos, a real great rotation. But then the Cardinals just fucking Cardinals and won like 23 games in 23 in a row, and then like went on that run and knocked us out. And we always felt like it wasn't our year that year, even though they jammed the window open in 19 and failed the rebuild after the run in 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So this now feels like a whole new generation of dudes. It feels like the early Braves, like early 10s Braves, with when they like extended Albies, Acuna, got all those dudes up. We're just ahead of schedule like they were by 1 year. No one gets that.
And it doesn't feel like a hodgepodge of like former years where it's just like maybe you can read the tea leaves and see how the Reds might be able to like finagle some wins. You know, we've had some good talent, but like this is like the first time that I can recall it's like the depth and actual elevation of the talent at this, level.
Agreed.
Yeah, for how young these for how young these young kids are. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'm extremely excited.
Yeah, it's like the beginning when they brought Bruce up and they brought Votto up and they brought like that slew of dudes, and it's great.
For a Cubs fan, I guess it's a little disconcerting to see what you've got coming through because they are so young and talented, like your Ellie Day, like Bruce, even though he strikes out pretty much all the time, But still, he's going to be good. He looks like a dude, and you have a lot of guys like that. And we're not built like that at all. We're just, kind of doing a little bit from column A of how you build a team, and a little bit from column B. We want to get a little veteran guy.
Yeah.
Maybe this dude will pan out and that kind of thing. But, when you really get that slew of young talent, and that's why I'm scared of you guys and the Pirates, really, ultimately.
Yeah.
Because, I'm friends with the farm director, John Baker, who was once a Cub, and we used to throw a bunch of events together. But I was talking to him recently, and he's like, dude, the whole minor leagues is stacked. He's like, once these guys start emerging, and they already have O'Neal Cruz and
Key Brian Hayes.
And who's that dude that's a catcher, but they made him an outfielder?
He's
got like an old-fashioned name.
Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Harry Ford or
John Henry, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
something
Oliver
with Henry.
Twinkletoes.
Well, Harry Ford is what I call my hog because it's always broke down on the side of the road.
So you guys both, when you look at the division now, which for a moment there looked like even 3 or 2 of the wild card spots plus the division were going to go, like half the division, or the playoff berths were going to go to NL Central teams.
Right.
Still could if the Reds could get in there. Right now we're in second spot, I believe. So
Right.
if you see that situation, it's like that could be an emergence of something that next year we're looking at. Like, what year was it? 2015?
Yeah.
When you had 97 win Cubs, 98 win Pirates, and then the Cardinals just, cardinaling.
Yeah.
But so I think that there is a lot of you guys and the Pirates youth movement, but once again, it comes down to pitching and comes down to getting some veteran know-how, because otherwise, the learning curve of it all can tend to.
That's where we have the leg up, is the pitching department. I mean, what they have done with Derek Johnson rebuilding all the way from low A to the majors and the program that they've set in, they know what they're doing. Look at what the Pirates have done for the past decade with their pitchers. They build them up, don't know how to effectively use them, trade them away, and then they become elite. Like Tyler Glasnow, Garrett Cole. Like, they just didn't know what they were doing. And that's that, and I think payroll. I think the Reds will actually go out and spend money when they know what they need. This whole year was like, fuck it, let the kids play, we'll figure it out. Next year, we'll plug the holes in free agency because we'll have a ton of money coming off the books with potentially Joey Votto, Mike Moustakas coming off the books too. And that's like $24 million or 50 or $44 million a year that they can use.
Yeah, that'd be crucial.
And that's huge. And then there has been signs with this front office and ownership that when they know what they're doing, when they feel comfortable with spending money, they'll do it. They'll be in the middle of the road. If the window's open, they'll throw money at it to plug the holes. I don't think the Pirates do that.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, even my friend John was also telling me, he was like, yeah, our front office isn't open on weekends. There's nobody there. Like, you get a message like, you've called the Pittsburgh Pirates. Like, what's one if this is emergency? Or like, you know.
And Roberto Clemente singing like a song when you're just like, Don't Travel by Blaine.
Yeah, Willie Stargell singing We Are Family. Like, what is happening, you know? It's just, yeah, no, so and I know we're going to do this later in the show where we talk about poverty franchises.
Yeah.
Which there are quite a few. But I don't see the Reds as being one. And the Cubs are always spending money as well, but not necessarily wisely, like, you know, where you guys did the let the kids play situation.
Yeah.
We were like, no, we're going to have Eric Hosmer. And we were like, no, we're going to put Trey Mancini and Tucker Barnhart, ex-Red great Tucker Barnhart. So
Yes.
put some respect on the name.
Mm-hmm.
On this podcast, his name is Bumper Fart Cart.
Oh.
Tucker Barn farts
We
too.
we didn't unfortunately have him long enough to come up with fun names for him, except for like guy we wished we didn't play. So,
It's either that or Father Time Jan Gomes.
Well, but
He's been good.
Gomes, once again, well, it was one of those. If everything goes right, we could hang around 500 years.
Yep.
And that's what we did. So it was very much a placeholder year. Bellinger coming out and returning to his MVP form was not necessarily expected by anybody,
No.
including Bellinger.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And so for him to do that, I mean, I hope that we have like the lead on maybe re-signing him if this is the dude that you can get, because you saw him hitting home runs yesterday,
Yeah.
playing batting practice off everybody this year. He's been great. But he was the only guy that they signed. I guess you could say Dansby's been okay, but that's more of a long-term deal.
Well, Dansby's been the back of his baseball card
Yeah.
from 21, and that's what you expected, and then you're getting that production out of that contract too. It's a matched value for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like Ian Happ in the way that you're just getting like a above average player,
Right.
who's gonna be solid and be out there every day, which is, the best ability is availability, thing. And that's been what it is. But they missed on so many dudes and did not let the kids play.
Right.
So, we were talking about this, Josh and I, last night. Josh is here in the audience for the podcast listeners. And
What up, Josh?
Hey, Josh! Give it up for Josh, everybody!
the artist formerly known as Mullet Man for you bleacher creatures. But the team that we broke with this year is a completely different team than what we have now. So they did not break with Christopher Morel, which, by the way, I'm wearing a fabulous Christopher Morel shirt from In the Clutch Shirts.
That's right.
DeVore's fabulous company. And so, we didn't break with him. We didn't break with, God, I'm going to blank. Who's the guy we just traded to Velasquez?
Yeah.
Nelson Velasquez, we traded him to the Royals. We had Fulmer as our closer, who just kept
Oof.
blowing up for 2 months straight.
Yep.
And they didn't win. Alzolay was like maybe still like a mid reliever / maybe starter. Like we didn't know.
No clue.
And now like he's got his own closer video. Like wait, what happened? Like I don't even think they knew what to expect. They were built for 500. They were built for a possible mid-season sell-off at the trade deadline to fortify the reserves. And they were like, well, if everybody catches fire, we'll hang around and maybe we can take this crappy division.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the game plan going in. And then they kind of half tried at the end, bringing up your Candelarios,
Right.
and getting a Jose Cuas, which I don't know. This guy's got a 4 ERA in Kansas City. Like, how is this the dude that we need?
Sure.
But they won't bring up your PCAs.
Which is crazy to me.
Carl Armstrong, they won't bring him up. They won't bring up. Well, they just brought up Canario.
Yeah.
Who is a prospect. Did he play yesterday in a
No.
doubleheader?
No.
You know, so they're just so conservative about every single move they make. And they've had, I don't know, it's just like, I really love your guys' approach. I think we're a better team. I think we're in first place if you just like don't give Hosmer and Trey Mancini, former Red Grape Trey Mancini, these at bats, and you give them to these young guys.
Yep.
And even if there's growing pains, which there will be,
of course,
you're not wasting at bats on a guy that's gonna hang around the Mendoza line. You know?
Right. And who would have thought Cubs front office and ownership being conservative? Who would have thought?
Yeah.
No, I mean that was the plan going into this year, and winning was the byproduct. And it's pretty cool because we had no other choice. We didn't sign anybody really in the offseason besides the he who should not be spoken, who started for the Reds and then got blown up in Seattle. Did you see that?
Oh, no, I didn't. But
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Luke Weaver. He sucks dick. But yeah, he got blown up in Seattle, and it brought so much joy to my heart. He lost to the A's, and I was like, idiots.
And I like all the other Reds fans, or the Reds players in that team. I do want to say that in regards to like how the Reds are like now, I think probably Reds fans feel the same way that I thought Cubs fans felt in like 12, 13, 14, 15, like when you could see like their farm system bringing up, you know, like Rizzo, Bryant, like all this young talent. And you're thinking like, man, when will it be like our turns when we finally have like a core group of studs coming up and you can see the horizon,
Yeah.
you know, approaching. And so that's where I feel like we're at now. It's like, oh, you're looking around like we got some legit talent that's coming up within, you know, our team here.
Right. And what was nice about that core was you started by signing Lester. So you had a Haas to lead the rotation. Here it's just been like, fucking figure it out, kids. Fight for the one. And it's worked out so far. But you can see with like, especially with Abbott, they're getting tired because they've never pitched this much.
Right.
So much.
And now here's the question: next year, will you be disappointed if you're not taking that step forward
Agreed.
and like not at least getting a wild card spot?
100%.
Yeah.
I think so. If we
So
don't
this
get-
year it's gravy, and next year you're like, you better do it, otherwise, you know.
Yeah, I think we're really excited to see a full 162 game campaign put together by this now what is the current, the present, the future of the kids that just arrived. So I'm excited because we've, you know, put all these pieces together this year, and you're seeing like the bigger names, the De La Cruzes, the CES, Martes, just now really getting together. So I think next year is going to be something where it's just like, okay, we got something to prove now.
Yeah.
So hopefully they, you know, come in hot to start off the year. And I think they will have a really great season next year.
I do too.
And what's frustrating is the Brewers. Can we move on to trashing the Brewers? I keep seeing it on
Yeah.
the list. I'm like, when are we gonna get to the
Oh.
Brewers? Because we gotta trash these jerks.
Dude, it's just amazing how mediocre, just above mediocre they can be. And then just pull dudes out of nowhere and be like, just plug them in middle relief. Or pull like their young core with Whitemer and whoever. Then they just plug in. It's like, oh, well, we'll always be 80, 89 to 93 wins.
It just keeps working for them, seemingly. They haven't like stopped gaining ground.
Yeah, exactly. And eventually, what will happen is the stadium will fall apart and they have to move, and we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
The only thing that'll be standing will be the slide.
Bernie the Brewer just looking around like, what happened to my house?
Just like Will Smith in that meme, just standing around looking.
He's not homeless, he's chaletless.
The most interesting thing about the Brewers to me is that Craig Counsell's in his final year of his contract. And to me, like 10 of those wins are easily Counsell's wins. Like
Yeah.
somehow he takes these fringe dudes and knows exactly how to use them, and he like treats them like a box of crayons to make a masterpiece. And somehow he can take Crayola and hang it in the Louvre. Like I don't know how it's possible to do, but he's just been able to do it year after year after year.
Yep.
And on paper, they can't hit.
Nope.
They got those two pitchers, and they got a bullpen from the gods.
Yeah. Well, it's also that Counsell knows when to deploy. Doesn't hesitate. It's like, all right, this is the perfect time to throw them out. They've seen their three hitters. We're going to manipulate and put them in right here in this spot. And there's, Rossi isn't great at it. what do you call him, Ross GPT?
Yeah, Ross GPT. And he just spits out the numbers that are coming from above. You know, he gets his little printout every day with the matchups and the lefty-righty splits, and does not ever deviate from that.
No.
Ross GPT.
How do you hold him to fault if that, because that's just the thing. It's like, well, the numbers said this. So I think it's a very conservative way to, orchestrate how you're putting people out there.
Right. And the only way he's going to get fired is if there's a fist fight in the dugout. Because that's his job, is just managing egos and then just deploying the spreadsheet at the right time. And David Bell's the same way. He is terrible with his bullpen, and he does this thing where he doesn't put, we don't have true high leverage situation relievers. Instead, he just deploys what he thinks is the best arm in that situation outside of their roles, and they get shelled. Happened to Lucas Sims.
Yeah, totally.
Diaz, who has the second most appearances in all of baseball, tied with Ian Jabot, Etain, Levitain legend from Great Britain in the World Baseball Classic.
I think I saw some of this yesterday, because what's been driving Cubs fans nuts this year is that, there'll be 2 outs in the inning, maybe a man on first or something, but no danger, you're up by 3 runs or something like that. There's 2 outs in the inning, and then out comes Ross GPT to make the pitching change.
Yep.
Because this guy walked on a bad call or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, are you serious? You're going to, because now it's a dirty inning, and then more often than not, it seems like those are the innings that get out of hand, because this guy is like, oh, I'm going to deploy our lefty specialist against the lefty, but because it's a dirty inning, he ends up paying too much attention to the runner on first, and then he walks that guy, now with first and second, and now they're scoring a run with a single, because now the matchup's wrong. It's like, there's never any thinking 2 steps ahead. If you play chess, the really good chess players are doing 5 steps ahead. You know, Craig Counsell's a 5-step ahead manager, and Ross GPT has just got maybe 1-2 steps tops. He's not looking ahead to see how this all lays out for the next 3 innings or whatever it's going to be. And I think we saw some of that yesterday with those 2-out pitching changes with nobody on sometimes.
Yeah. Because they're trying to avoid the 3-batter rule. That's the whole thing that they're trying to do, is they're trying to sneak around it. Which, who would have thought baseball trying to manipulate the rules? Who would have thought?
Weird.
It's so odd. You know what's even more odd is what happened at your neighboring ball club this week in Chicago. Did you guys see this?
Delicious.
Oh my God.
Those last vignettes.
Oh my God. What a fun, lighthearted story about a shooting. So the White Sox last weekend, there was a lady who hid a gun in her folds.
Fat folds.
Fat folds.
For the layman.
Well, I didn't know you had to be specific with fat when talking about folds on a human.
It's true. Elbow fold, I guess.
Yeah, that hides a Glock. So how this woman got the gun in, aside from her Jabba the Hutt physique, was that, that's rude, but accurate. She kept setting off the metal detector. She set it off 3 times, and security was too embarrassed to ask her to pull up the folds.
This wasn't the first time that she's done this. She's gotten away with this before. That amount of confidence, no. They never check the folds.
I used to sneak in peanuts, but now, a gun.
Most people just sneaking in a bottle of Jack or something like that. But
Smith & Wesson, baby.
Yeah, and then she's just packing extra magazines. Pretty fucking rad.
Well, what choice did she have? We don't have open carry in Chicago, so she's got to hide.
It's true. What was she supposed
you got to
to
protect
do?
yourself at Sox Park. They're having a tough season. There's a lot of anger out there.
Yeah, did you see those dudes going up on bird scooters and shit, saying hey, you got to pay for this parking, and they're harassing these cars pulling up. Yeah, sure. They give them $30, and then they aren't dudes that are parking attendants. They're just politely robbing you.
Nice.
And then scurrying off on birds and limes. Pretty great gambit, if you ask me.
That's nice. That's a good hustle culture. I appreciate it.
It's all about the hustle
how to
culture.
pay my rent next month. So.
So the woman gets in with the 9mm in section 3 or 4 fold, gets in, and then is sitting out in the outfield, and then she moves, the gun drops, and then goes off, grazes somebody's leg, and then grazes another person's stomach. And what really sucks is that it was Chicago Public School night out at the ballpark, and both the people that got hit were teachers. So getting shot outside of the classroom's a new one for them.
Yeah, very strange. But I heard she was a teacher. Is that not true?
She was. Wait, the gunfold lady, or the people who got shot?
The gunfold lady.
I don't know if she's a teacher or not.
Oh, okay.
I thought she was.
Oh yeah,
Well,
PE.
Yeah.
Hopefully she certainly learned a lesson at her.
You can take the Chicago teacher out of the schools, but you can't take the firearms out of the fat flaps. If you've learned anything.
Very good point. We did learn this, yeah.
We did learn. The game didn't stop because Reinsdorf, I still need to make money.
That was the shocking part, is
Yeah.
that they did not stop the game. Yet, they did cancel a Vanilla Ice concert with Tone Loc and who's the other guy?
Rob Bass.
Rob Bass, yeah, he was the one that did, joy and pain, sunshine. Well,
So this is an
And
example of firearms doing good.
that's true.
NRA should have picked this up immediately.
Little funky Cole Medina, you're not about it.
I can get Funky Cole Medina.
Funky 9 Medina.
There had to have been someone there, though, that really didn't want to go to that concert afterwards. And they're like, man, I just want to get the heck out of here. And all of a sudden a gun goes off, thank you, God.
It's shocking, though. I mean, they cancel it for drizzle. It could be drizzle and no cancel
Flying stray bullets.
Yeah.
If it's stray bullets, what's the odds it's going to happen again?
Yeah, well, it's technically 2 straight
You
bullets.
wait 30 minutes.
That is a drizzle.
Yeah. True.
So I also did a little bit more research, which is found 3 more Google links. Pretty cool.
Nice.
And supposedly there was a shooting a mile away, and the lawyer of of Pizza the Hut was like, "Hey, I didn't bring a gun. It didn't go off. That was a shooting from a mile away." And they're like, "No, it fucking didn't. It was from your gun."
It was from the gun. Yeah.
So that's just insane.
Yeah. It's not our proudest moment as a city. I'll say that.
No.
That was pretty rad. I appreciate you guys more. I have a lot more respect. Able to sneak guns into the game, dude.
Don't worry. We'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah, the most South Side thing. Sneak the gun in, and then they've got the mafia hat and jacket in the dugout.
You know, there's gonna have to new protocol. They do training for the security guards now at the stadium. We're okay, if they're of a certain size, you're gonna have to get the flap gloves. You're gonna ask them lubed or unlubed. You're gonna have to get in there.
So get there early because that line in Chicago is going to be quite long. Start separating people out by weight class.
Oh, come on, it's the Midwest. We're all that way, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
And also, I went to that ballpark, and I hate how they truly have you sociologic, it's class warfare in there. If you're on that 3rd level, you can only get in that way, and if they just look at you you're poor, you can only stay up here.
So they separate the way you enter and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like the Titanic where there's certain classes.
Exactly.
Were you dancing with Irish people? Spin me, Jack.
Yeah. When Alicia and I got to the very top of the ballpark, she just opened up her arms. It's hold me.
Yeah, it's the 100 level ticket there, which, by the way, is where the shooting took place, I might add.
Yeah.
This was not up in the cheap seats that this is happening anyway.
This was the 1%.
Yeah, this is...
Not 1% body fat, though. Boom, roasted.
Yeah, 1% of Sox fans is pretty much like the family in Roseanne.
Look, I know that we're ripping on this woman for being large and in charge, but I am also using this mic stand, and it's sitting on my tummy as a shelf.
Yeah.
So, look.
Remember, we do skyline luges here. We got no diabetes foot to stand on.
Yeah. I have 3 food tattoos.
Yeah.
So my thing is I know not to own a gun and leave it next to stretch mark 4 and 12. So I'm good there. But what a fucking poverty organization, the White Sox. It's hilarious. Their whole build, they were we built it up. And then Reinsdorf was just let's get this guy with dementia to run the ball club with Tony La Russa, Hall of Fame person.
Hall of Famer type baseball person.
Well, that's what he said when he got pulled over for his
Yeah.
like 9th DUI in Arizona, which I think you can have like 12 and not get arrested or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they pulled him over. Like he was like, "Do you know who I am? I'm a Hall of Fame person." They're like, "Shut up, Grandpa. Get in the cruiser." But like, I don't blame the front office. I blame Reinsdorf for La Russa coming in and like just totally blowing the whole thing up in the development. But yet, they fired everybody. They cleaned house.
Yeah, they got rid of Kenny Williams and Rick Hahn, and I mean, as a Cubs fan, also delicious, to watch this happen to the White Sox. Who, I will say that for the most part, I think Cubs fans don't really care about White Sox fans. It's White Sox fans that always have it in for the Cubs. And I'll just do a quick story about this. Well, first of all, our buddy Mai Tai guy got totally jumped in the bathroom in the last time we played the White Sox in their stadium. Yeah, you know Mai Tai guy.
Yeah.
He got his lip was all bloody, his eye was black, Mai Tai guy, he talks a little smack here and there, but it doesn't deserve a beating within an inch of your life and a night in the hospital, which is what it ended up being.
Oh, man.
But I was at a playoff game when they had one series, a wild card series or whatever, maybe when they won the division last time, I don't remember. But it was a must-win game for them to move on. It was a day game. It had been rained out the day before, and the guy couldn't use his ticket. So my White Sox fan friend said, "All right, don't wear any Cubs crap, but you're going to come down to this White Sox game and see a playoff game." And I'm like, "All right, I'll go down." Great seats right behind the White Sox dugout, like we were
nice.
right? So I'm up in the bathroom.
Jacking
And everybody's just peeing, right? Just normal, don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
This is a private moment we're having. And then I hear these two guys talking next to me. He's like, "Hey, at least it's not like Wrigley with the troughs." Like, guys looking at each other's junk and stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, we are at your team's playoff game. The Cubs are out of it. We're home. You guys are back in the Dominican, California, hanging out. Our team, that's what our team's doing. You're in the playoffs, and you're talking about Cubs fans looking at each other's junk at the trough, like rent-free in their heads, dude. So, that's just one example of how we live rent-free in their head, because we are the #1 team in Chicago. We will always be.
Yeah.
So to watch this happen to them, after they just talk trash after trash after trash, that makes my work easy. I don't have to talk trash.
No.
They can talk trash about themselves because it's so horrible. And then Getz is the guy that they get.
Yeah.
And he's from within the organization. So how are you changing anything except for getting a guy who knows even less than the guys you fired?
More of the same culture.
Exactly.
Yep.
So they can fail all they want because, unfortunately that just makes tickets more expensive at Wrigley Field. As more and more Cubs fans are made every single day. But
And the troughs are my favorite thing at Wrigley Field. I love it. You get to look at all the dicks.
They're
They're on display, hanging out.
It brings you together as a fan base.
Yeah.
They used to have it in the upper deck where there was like a low wall that you could rest your beer upon. And on the other side were more troughs and another guy. And then his beer on a wall. So you'd be staring into this man's eyes as you took care of business. And it brought you together as a fan base. It's how we won in 16. It's how we did it. But it's it's fun to see the White Sox going down. But at the same time, it's such a great baseball town.
Mm-hmm.
And the South Side has a rich tradition when
Of
Comiskey
shootings.
was of fat people hiding guns and they're fat. No, a rich tradition of baseball. Even going back to the Negro Leagues with the #1 game, the East-West game was played at Comiskey Park, and it was like basically like Christmas and Easter baseball rolled into one. For baseball on the south side of Chicago, so it would be nice to have two competitive teams, and and a lot of it is the nepotism that we get from Jerry Reinsdorf. This is what happens when a 90-year-old billionaire is allowed to run roughshod over a baseball team. It's like he hires his old friend Tony La Russa, who's falling asleep on the bench. I mean, it's pathetic, and it would be fun if there was ever a Cubs Sox World Series, for example.
Oh, it'd be incredible.
That'd be awesome for the city of Chicago. It might be Mrs. O'Leary's cow park too, but
Dude, it'd be so rad.
but it'd be fun.
It'd be great. I don't know who's more of a poverty organization, them, the A's, or the Angels. Boy, howdy, hilarious. You botch Shohei, you botch Trout, you go for it at the deadline, and then you DFA everyone you traded for that set your organization back at least 5 years, and Shohei's like, nah, I'm gonna go.
What a whirlwind, seriously. They were going for it, and all of a sudden, in the span of like a week and a half, Shohei's crying as a UCL situation, and all of a sudden, we're just going to have a yard sale for all these players. I mean, that just turned around so quickly.
And the best part was then, like, somebody tweeted about, like, hey, tell me about your painful Angels story. And then ex-pitcher for the Angels, C.J. Wilson, said, hold my beer, and went off on Twitter.
Yeah,
he said when they refused to buy Pujols a special treadmill because it was expensive, that was comical. There was no breakfast served at spring training until the second week in 2012.
Holiday Inn does that. Like,
yeah, you can get free oatmeal at a counter, and the Angels are like, we're not doing it.
DoubleTree offers complimentary breakfast.
No weight room until 2013. Coming from Texas, where fitness was 100% expected, it was shocking how lazy they expected the players to be. And then commented and said, imagine telling players, just run really hard to first base and you'll be in great shape. So funny from a millionaire pitcher just shitting on an organization that just gave him $75 million.
Yeah, I dig it.
It's so funny. And then he said, imagine telling players to be physically ready for 8 a.m. workouts by, quote, stopping at Chick-fil-A if you need to eat. I don't know.
Dude, I don't understand like how Shohei is like in this organization. It seems insane.
They offered him more money than when he was visiting. He wanted to be on the West Coast. It was them, Mariners, Dodgers, and the Angels offered him like $10 million more.
Well, I mean, you talk about like the White Sox being the second team of Chicago. You got the Dodgers in LA and the Angels, and it's not that close. I mean, they're an hour away from each other.
Right.
Cubs and Sox are a lot more close as far as distance-wise go. But it's the Angels. They're kind of an afterthought of a team.
Yes.
I think, I don't even remember. They won a World Series, which I even forgot about. It was like, wait, the Angels won a World Series. When? I forgot the Angels were a team.
The Rally Monkeys.
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
those? They had the Rally Monkeys.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. I was confused by it, too. I went to the stadium there, and there was monkeys everywhere. I was like, what happened here? I think that's when I found out they won the World Series. I'm like, oh, yeah, I tuned out because the Cubs were in last that year, and I stopped watching it on September 8th. Or something, But
I thought they just like Wizard of Oz.
But it's that team. I mean, they tried everything. They never had the pitching. They never could figure that out.
No.
They hired Joe Madden, who is a brilliant manager. We all saw what he did with the 2016 Cubs, and he has a couple World Series rings. He did it with the Rays and team guys. He won the World Series with guys that nobody had ever heard of before they won the World Series.
For sure.
So this guy is a special kind of manager. They get him with the Angels, and then they threw a bunch of stat nerds at him.
Yep.
And they said to him, they had him in the dugout. So like they come to the dugout for the game, and then there's these analytics dudes being like, hey, we think you should do this with the lineup. He goes, no, I've made the lineup. You guys get out of here. And he went to the front office and I don't want these guys in the dugout with me. I got the numbers. I read everything.
Yeah.
I set the lineup. I know what these dudes are going through. I know baseball. I watch it every day. You guys are sitting in front of a computer. And so they had they didn't agree on how it should go forward. And I think that, and then he got pushed out.
Yeah, and his getting fired story was so funny because they were on a 13-game losing streak. He then is like, all right, I'm gonna get the team ready. I'm gonna motivate him. Shaved his hair into a mohawk, and the GM comes to his front door. That right after he does it, knocks. He opens. He goes, "Oh, you did the mohawk?" He goes, "Yeah." And he goes, "Okay, well, stay home. You're fucking fired."
Oh, that's hilarious.
So great, which is just a poverty franchise move. So it's between them and the Rockies, A's. There's a good White Sox. The Rockies had another incident this week. Acuna was in center field for the Braves, and a guy ran on the field, wanted a selfie. Just like, hey, come here, bud.
It seems wildly too easy to do that. Like when you see like those videos that come out, it's like, oh, you can just run out on the field. No one's gonna stop you, and if they do, you're probably quicker.
Have you seen some of Wrigley security? Like, dude, I mean, I think my 50-year-old legs can outrun some of these guys.
Yeah.
No, I mean, some of these guys, though, that run Wrigley Security, like, they actually guarded prisoners in, like, the Korean War and stuff. So,
Oh,
like,
man.
yeah, so, but I think I could outrun an 85-year-old man, though. So, but it's,
It'll be close.
no, it's true, and now they've got those nets up, so you think they make it a little harder, but these dudes are still
Right.
jumping out of the field. There was that thing in April, I don't know if you saw, where a guy in Dodger Stadium went to propose, and he went out there and he got on one knee, and dude, security came out and bodied this guy, completely bodied him and threw him down. So they're not messing around in LA at all.
No.
Colorado, I think they're messing around a little bit more.
Yeah, because in April, there was a guy who climbed on the home dugout and tackled Dinger, their mascot, realized he was drunk and went, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Hopped up, ran up the stairs, and ran out of the ballpark. He had to turn himself in. Not security catching him. He was like, I feel bad. I tackled a dinosaur. And then went to the police.
Hey man, if there's a dinosaur in front of you, you might, have some weird flashback.
Instincts kicked in, all this nom stuff, flashback.
Yeah, exactly. You could think you're in Jurassic Park all of a sudden, and you've got a T-Rex coming at you. You don't know.
Yeah, you just look at that purple dinosaur in the back of your head. It's like, I love you. You love me.
Yeah, you don't know what that guy's been through.
No.
With Barney.
Yeah, no shit. Thank you for picking me up on the reference there. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just so like another way I know that the Rockies are such a dog shit poverty franchise. I was at Sloan Park this year, a couple rows behind home plate, talking to some buddies, and they're playing the Rockies. And I lean to my buddy, who's a huge baseball fan, and I go, "What are the Rockies doing? Like, what is their plan?" And he loudly goes, "Well, this old rich guy sits at a desk and screams at 12 interns, and then falls asleep." And wakes back up 15 minutes later, screaming at the same people to do something completely different. That's how the Rockies are ran. And then we hear 2 rows in front of us, right? Front row, visiting dugout. We just hear a couple claps like, hey, there you go, boys. Way to pick it up. And we're like, who the fuck cheers at a spring training game? And then this older guy approaches and walks up the steps. And we realize it's Dick Manfort, the owner of the Rockies.
Did he fall asleep right after that?
Yeah, he went up. He's like, I need a nap.
All
Fell
they
asleep
needed
with
was a
some
little
nachos.
encouragement to do better, I think, and then it was going to be fine. I heard a story. There's this guy I know from Twitter, and I've done a couple. He's got his own podcast, too, called, God, what is it called? I'm blanking, but something in Ivy. Everything that is, Pinwheels and Ivy.
Okay.
Because it's a Sox-Cubs matchup podcast. And this guy, K-Fans, he was Chris Bryant's high school coach.
Oh, really?
In Las Vegas, and so he knows him and the family very well. And he's talked to Chris about why he went to Colorado. There's a couple reasons. Chris Bryant is a very kind of simple dude who loves Disney movies.
Yikes.
He likes to sit at home with his family. He doesn't drink, doesn't speak, real clean living kind of guy.
Is he Mormon?
He lives like a Mormon.
Yeah, okay.
He thinks Britney Spears is rock and roll. Like,
The world is 6,000 years old.
Yeah, exactly. So he's in that camp. Like,
Okay.
and so he's just a real clean living dude. And so there was a match for him in Colorado because you're under the radar. Like you think all these guys want to be in New York or LA or some crazy families like Philadelphia, where these guys are on you every day. It did not actually go very well for him in Chicago. He hated all that stuff, so he had to shut off his phone all the time because we're nuts. Cubs fans are nuts.
Yeah.
So he decided to go to Chicago in the promise that the Rockies were going to add to their team and build around him. None of that happened.
Right.
No, it was a straight up lie.
Yep.
And Chris is pissed about it. And now Chris has also had trouble staying on the field with a lot of injuries. But
Why would you try when they aren't trying either?
well, I mean, I think he is trying.
I meant playing
been,
through like
yeah.
an injury. Like you could be like, I'm a little sore. Put me on the 15-day.
Yeah, absolutely. Because even this guy's 80% is a lot of dudes 100%. You know.
Right.
So anyway, it's just like, and I agree with that assessment that they will change their mind about like going for it or not. Look at the Angels. Oh, we failed in a 2-week period. Let's completely, make a deficit for our franchise for the foreseeable future. Unlike Cohen for the Mets, who said, I screwed up. None of this worked. I got all these high-priced dudes, but I'm going to trade them, eat the money, and buy prospects.
Yep.
And then in 2 years, I'm going to have the same slew of dudes. We're going to try it a different way. And that is how you do it. The other guys, they just won't spend the money no matter what.
Exactly. You are 100% correct. And it was a genius move. And yeah, man. Like, I also heard this. Like, when the reason the Rockies didn't do a whole lot at the trade deadline the past, I don't know, 30 fucking years is because front offices would call and no one picked up. No one knew who to call. No one knew who to be like, hey, we want CJ Crone. Okay, well, can we get anyone on the line? They're like, nope, we're high in the mountains.
We're working on a family plan here, and we don't have anybody to pick up. Sorry.
Sorry, we paid too much for long distance.
We have cricket service here.
So yeah, hilarious poverty franchise. So goddamn funny. So, it's just
Yeah,
beautiful.
we're not a poverty franchise, and we're just bad at spending money. You know?
Yeah, I
It's like,
just don't
if it goes
get
the
it.
other way, we should give some to somebody who knows what they're doing. I think this would be kind of nice.
It's just old wealthy people thinking they have all the right decisions, and that's, I think, getting in the way of like a lot of people progressing.
Yeah, the only way old, rich, white dudes come is by not spending and winning.
Yeah, remember they used to have that championship belt that they used to hand out by who like saved the most money. You ever hear about the the ownership championship belt?
No.
It leaked out that it even happened because it was a secret owners cabal situation where they had like a WWF or WWE, I guess now, it's a champion. This shows how old I am. The design belt that they would pass around and like put a patch, I guess, for every owner that was able to like basically rip off your players the best.
Wow.
Yeah, look this thing up, man. They tried to bury it. I'm sure like every day they're paying another $20 to keep it off Google.
The only time they'll spend money.
Yeah, exactly.
Between that and adrenochrome. Really surprised that hit.
Oh, that was what a fucking pull.
Yeah. Oh, Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. What a cool guy. What a neat island.
What a neat
Welcome
island.
to Fantasy Island.
That's what the pamphlet said.
Knick-knack, Tabasco.
That's a different show.
That's a Bond movie.
No, Ricardo Montalban.
What a guy. That guy partied. Did you know that cirrhosis
On
killed
Jeffrey
him?
Epstein's island.
On the island. Yeah.
Spreading rumors now on this show.
It wouldn't be. It's not the first time.
We do a lot. We do a lot of speculating.
Oh, our favorite thing is to speculate. You know who was not on those flight logs? The Cubs or Reds. How about that transition?
How about it?
Huh? Tom Hanks was on the flight logs. Anyway, we got a 4-game series. We played 2 of them yesterday. Split with you guys. That was pretty cool. The first game sucked on our end. Really cool for you guys. Second game sucked for you guys. Really cool on our end.
Well, for one inning.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it was really cool at the end, but like the rest of the thing, you weren't doing that cool.
No, it wasn't that
One
cool.
rate, one run, you know, and then all of a sudden you. Well, the thing about, can we start with the Cubs loss?
Yeah.
Because, first of all, I miss the old Reds bullpen because you guys were throwing out a bullpen game,
Yep.
and like the old give me like Jumbo Diaz out there, you know, like that's the Reds bullpen I wanted to feel. I'm like, ooh, Reds bullpen game, and like just
Like, here we go.
Salivating. I'm like, ooh, Reds bullpen, this is gonna be delicious.
Jumbo Diaz could hide a gun under his folds.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure good.
The dude can hide a freaking flamethrower. But he was not a flamethrower. He was Jumbo.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, you can throw kind of hard.
He
right?
can't triple digits. You'd
Yeah,
be like, holy shit, how'd he do that? And you're like, he's 300 pounds.
Yeah.
With a lot behind
It
it.
went straight and it went far when you hit it. But,
Yep.
yeah. But for you guys to throw out a bullpen game, us to load the bases right in the beginning, and have that dude that was obviously struggling to find the plate, it was either walk or strikeout kind of stuff that he had, which is always good stuff.
Yep.
As long as it can be competitive, the pitch. For us not to capitalize on that situation, I think was the death knell for the game.
Mhm.
We've been doing a lot of that, which they're like, oh, the Cubs come on strong, and then they're like, we're going to score 1 million in this game, and then it's just nothing. Like we had games against, we had a 1-0 game against, God, who did we play? Brewers.
Yeah.
1-0 game against the Brewers on Wednesday, and Tuesday, and it held up.
Yeah.
And they scored that run in the first inning. And I'm like, well, this ain't gonna hold up, and it did.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And then you won another game 2-1, right?
2-1, and so we just haven't really been scoring, taking advantage of opportunities like that, and yeah, it's just been real inconsistent, And then I think yesterday was like kind of, we didn't score to the end of that game. In the first game either, those were tight games until the end of the first game, and then Cubs added on.
Well, Ashcraft pitched really well until he got into the sixth, got into runners on first and second. He had 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks, gave up 1 dinger to goddamn Bellinger, who is just on fire, seeing everything clearly. And they just owned him. Like a lot of swings and misses, and that second inning from Ashcraft, 1, 2, 3 with like 7 pitches.
Mm-hmm. Had a lot of movement with his pitches. Like his slider's looking great, his cutter's doing really well. I think I saw a stat, but I think Ashcraft has like some of the best movement as far as like starting pitching goes. But he does get in trouble and leaves like his off-speed stuff up.
Which also his slider against Bellinger broke right into his bat.
Yeah.
That was pretty rough. But yeah, and he also has changed the shape of the slider. He can have it drop, and he can have it sweep a little bit too. And his control has gotten worlds better since he had that rough patch in May. Mm-hmm. So you guys just got on Lucas Sims, got shelled, and then it was like, well, I guess we're not scoring any more runs.
Yeah.
And it's just inconsistent because of our young bats. That's a part of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Ellie Day LaCruz struck out a bunch yesterday, I know, and he came out like gangbusters, but but you managed, even though it was a tight game in that second game, to have the young guys, like you said right before it happened, you said this could be the moment that puts this kid on the map for Reds fans. And then he was able to do it and come through in that moment and get the single and win the game. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking we're going to extras, and the Reds had another idea about it. So, let's end it right here. I want to watch some fireworks, let's go. And so, that's frustrating to the Cubs fans, but these are the margins that we were losing on earlier in the year. Mm-hmm. Where we got walked off on the Marlins, or the Marlins walked off on us at 2 games straight in Miami, where they scored late, we were winning the whole game, and then boom, it just turned around. And Alzolay being this dude, we thought he was up in the first game. By the way. They were going to bring him out, and then the Cubs were able to add on. They sat him and finished the game with Keegan Thompson. Mm-hmm. Made him do another inning, but with Alzolay, he's a young dude. Mm-hmm. This is not somebody that was even considered to be our closer. Maybe rumored to possibly be a closer candidate, but now he's got the video.
Right.
And that's a little bit surprising to Cubs fans. He's been pretty much nails until really recently, because he had a little blow up against Milwaukee as well, where he hit a guy with the bases loaded when they brought him in the 8th. And that tied the game. Cubs able to come back and win it, but still, it's this isn't the kind of playoff closer, because otherwise we sweep yesterday. If we have Aroldis Chapman circa 2016, pumping in 105 at you, the game's over and everybody goes, oh, that's not how we're built.
Right.
The 2016 team wipes the floor with the 2023 club.
Agreed.
So it's it's just a different kind of scenario that we're facing. So, for the Cubs not to be able to win that second game when we were winning it at the very end is kind of indicative of the lukewarm, ultimate non-confidence I have in my team, going much too far into a playoff series without just a lot of miracles.
Sure.
Yeah. And I think with the Reds, they've been relying on kind of the magic stuff and winning a lot of those one-run games, whereas now it's not seemingly coming up, at the end of the results. They're just not getting those wins as frequently as what they were, at the first half of the year, I feel.
And you also had Alexis Diaz, who was so elite for the first 2/3 of the season, and then he's just gotten tired, man. He's a young kid who hasn't pitched this much ever. He's the second most appearances in all of baseball with Ian Jabot. So it's he's gonna drop a few, but still, saves leader. That's what we have over you guys, is when he goes out, it's nails.
Yeah.
And he's only 26.
Yeah, he's one of the few Reds in the bullpen that every time he comes out, I feel good about it. There's like definitely like I do like our bullpen, but the amount of hesitation that I have of like, I'm not sure if Sims is going to do well this time or Jabot, but Diaz is the dude that's just like, okay, he is a solid player.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's got cool come out music.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Oh, yeah.
And Tim the
El
lights and
Matador.
everything goes nuts.
Yeah.
Like, it was exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
But
Matador photo over there. We didn't realize that earlier.
oh shit!
Little black velvet. How about it?
Well, what's really cool is when that Diaz brother comes out of the bullpen, he doesn't need a wheelchair to do it. Pretty neat. It's really cool.
It's a fair joke.
Thank you.
That's a fair
Appreciate it.
joke.
So yeah, you guys know that, hey, moving forward, i.e. 2024, we need to sign a real closer. Or a real high leverage guy, because we're in the same boat.
Mm-hmm. Need
So
a setup guy.
yeah,
For
Nick
sure.
Martini taking you guys yard. What years was he a Cub?
God, a year that's forgettable because I forget. I mean, but it was like 2021, 22, even 20 maybe he was there.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, but it was a half a season kind of thing, which 2020 was basically half
Right.
a season, not even. But yeah, ex-Cub great, Nick Martini on the Nick Martini revenge tour last night. The ruining of. Like my cousin, she comes all the way from Chicago down near Fine City. They get one game with their son. Like, he's a young man, and you dashed his hopes.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, God. And you're not even going to be in the playoffs.
You don't know that.
Yeah, right.
We're only 1.5 back, and we don't have to play the
We're in the
Brewers
mix,
again.
baby.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, we don't have that
But-
devil magic lingering over us.
But he was devastated. I saw him after the game. The kid was devastated. And it's all your fault. So you should
Cool.
feel at least a little bit bad.
No,
Cool,
I like
he can
it.
feel our pain from just the 90s.
Yeah. How many
And
tears I
two-
cried in the 90s?
Oh, in
on
the
my Reds.
2000s, when Ken
Yeah.
Griffey Jr., both of his knees exploded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it sucked. At least he got to see a World Series win.
Yeah, which I always get a little bit jealous of younger Cubs fans who got to see a World Series so young, because they're just going to expect things in a different way, I think, about the success of the team. And I think they'll look at me as the old man as being really negative, having an
Yeah.
ultimately cynical view of everything, which is maybe unfair to, like, if you start at 16 and that's your first team, and then you got to go and see a bunch of playoff baseball, like, you're going to expect that. And I think you should, being a major market team. It's really
Agreed.
unfair how things went down for my generation and before. Like, we shouldn't wear this as a badge of honor. We should just be mad that it ever happened. Then go see a therapist and, like, work through it and, like, let the damn kids be happy.
Yeah.
Without shitting on their parade, because part of me is like, well, I'm glad Jake saw that loss. It makes him tough. he should know that you don't deserve a good closer.
Gal us up, boys.
It's not
Yeah.
fair.
But it's also on the
he
flip-
deserves happiness.
Well, on the flip side of that, when you guys won the World Series, it was really cool for like super old dudes who have been like, now I've seen it all, and then they can like die at home or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, no. Do you know how many people died immediately?
Checked out
They
in
were just
hospice.
holding on for this. They had terrible lives. They're just laying there waiting to die. Like, no, I gotta see the Cubs win it. They win it November 4th. 80,000 people died.
Yeah, Rizzo put the ball in his back pocket, and Grandpa went night-night.
Yeah, that was it. That was it. That would've been- see, that's the way to go.
Oh, no
I'm
shit.
gonna live to be whatever, like 108 years is, whatever that would be, like 2016
Yeah.
plus 108 plus whatever age that makes me 150, I believe,
Yeah.
at that point or something like that. I'm gonna live to be 150
Yeah.
just so I can do that,
You'll-
because that was really the way to do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die in GABP and have them wheel me out. Like right after a walk-off win, and there's like a Friday night fireworks situation.
Yeah.
They're gonna wheel me out. Vanilla Ice is
Even
playing.
better yet, shoot you up there with the fireworks.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, I just want to sit out there for a double header. Just put my corpse in the POW chair.
Yeah.
That's the
Prop
dream.
you up like on top of the dugout.
Just I'm Gapper for the day.
Oh,
They
yeah.
Paint my corpse red and just have me dance around with fur.
Shoot me out of Redzilla.
Oh,
Like instead of the
Please.
t-shirts, like blow me up. Like
That Zilla was
like
broken
my fucking
last
ashes.
night.
It was smoking?
it was
It was
broken.
broken.
What? What
Yeah,
happened?
Redzilla, I don't know if you guys caught that. If anybody was at the game, like Redzilla started going around, and like some of the T-shirts were jammed up in there, and like
Yeah.
they weren't coming out.
That's good. They put a boot on that Redzilla too. Wasn't paying rent.
Yeah, we couldn't get a 21 foam ball salute. It was a real bummer. Well, we got 2 games left for this to really just help decide the NL Central and the wild card standings. Today, right now it's Saturday. It's 2:38, 39, whatever. I don't know how to read. And today we've got Abbott on the bump. You have Assad, young fella, cool glasses.
Yeah.
It feels like it should be a real close, tight game again. Assad's pitched really well the past couple outings, right?
Yeah, no, he's been a real workhorse. Kind of surprising, opening a lot of eyes because he was never supposed to be like anything more than maybe rotation, bullpen depth.
Yeah.
And I don't think they really believed in his abilities maybe completely.
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw him pitch last year, when it came up, Assad impressed a lot of people, and I think opened a few eyes, at least of the fans, because he did well. But then, really, what he did in the World Baseball Classic, pitching for Team Mexico,
Yeah.
when he rocked his way through an all-star lineup of the USA team.
I was there.
Yeah, that
Crazy.
was in Arizona.
Yep.
Right?
I was at that
I think
game.
you guys were at the game too, right? The Arizona game, Mexico versus USA.
Man, you've had your heart broken a lot this year, bud.
He did get Morales to sign a ball, though, so that's pretty cool.
That's all that matters.
So, but Assad, I think is an example of somebody that he might have broken with the team, but they didn't use him much.
Right.
And I'm like, why don't they use Assad?
Yeah, and they kept sending him down to AAA too.
Yeah, exactly. And Tyone keeps blowing up. Nah, keep throwing him out there. He's a vet. No, why don't you use Assad? He's been really good. Like,
Yeah.
he's actually doing well. No, we don't believe in him. So they don't use him.
No, they use
Now-
Smiley instead.
Exactly, and he was good to start the year, but it's been terrible for months.
Old.
And you just run out of steam. But Assad, they just refuse to believe that he can be good, and it's been great. And so I think I believe in him, and he's been great this year. I think he had he pitched against you last year, had a good one and a bad one.
Yeah.
And I wrote down some notes about what he did against us, but yeah, he faced you in relief this year, did 3.1 innings, so he's been doing some long man stuff, and it was like 3 walks, 4 Ks, but only 1 hit. So I don't know, that's a weird outing.
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
odd.
Yeah, that's odd. So Fraley hit a dong off of him, and I don't know.
The OG Viking, baby.
Yeah, glad to have him back. Fraley, baby.
God, it's a
Oh,
huge
he's
help.
not on the team anymore?
No. He has a stress fracture in his toe.
That went home?
The one that stayed home. Because
It was the one that had none.
that has none. Because this little piggy goes to market.
Toe fracture.
That's
Yeah.
how we describe
So
injuries.
he was out for a little while, just came back this series. I mean,
Yesterday.
yeah, went 3 for 4.
Yeah, he had a hell of a game
Amazing.
on his broken toe, and it's just like, fuck it.
Wasn't an RBI leader for us for a little while.
Yeah,
before he got
clutch. Really, you could see the uptick with his power. That was the one thing we were really missing. And thank God he's back. And then we have Hunter Renfroe, who's a true patriot, if you didn't know that. So
The thing that bothers me, about a lot of the way the Cubs kind of approach their starting pitching in their development and how they draft, is they don't have a lot of swing and miss stuff. It's a lot of pitch to contact, fool the guy. Hendricks is like that. That's like the best example of that.
yeah,
And so Assad is very much in that realm. Reds are a team, can make a lot of contact, nickel and dime you to death.
Correct.
In a way.
death by 1,000 paper cuts.
So that's the only thing that concerns me about it. Really, all the Cubs pitchers.
Sure. Wicks had a lot of swing and miss stuff yesterday, though.
He's the guy that I think people are thinking can be that dude, but 2 starts, a lot of promise, first round pick action.
Right.
So Cubs fans are excited, but the younger ones are excited. The old ones are all cynical and be like, this will never work. He's obviously going to get Tommy John immediately. Yeah.
Well, what concerns me about today is that Abbott hasn't had a lot of length. He's had a lot of control issues.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, he seems to be one of the players that when I think about the Reds not having the familiarity of longevity going into this point in the season, Abbott comes to mind a lot because you can see like where there's just been this pretty much consistent downward like tick with him with his effectiveness on the mound, and he's normally really good, but he's just not having the stamina now to go long.
And also, this is only his 18th or 19th career start. So it's like, we want to win, but you also got to cut these kids some slack. This is the most he's ever pitched ever at any level in baseball. Right.
Yeah, when we're there with Justin Steele, too. We're right there with the young guy. And, I think even, Assad probably is. they're counting on me. This is a pennant race.
Yeah.
You know, it's a new uncharted territory for a lot of these guys.
Of course, and same with the game 4 tomorrow with Williamson. This is the most he's ever pitched at any level again. Strong lefty, had a really great outing last time with a really good pitch mix. I've got the breakdown in front of me. He had 39 four-seamers, 35 cutters, 24 changeups, and 7 curveballs. When you can take those 3 of those pitches and throw them at that much of a clip and be able to spread it out like that, it's pretty dangerous for a guy who's only got, 20 career starts in the majors, who's only going to get better against a veteran in Jameson Taillon who's recently just come on, right?
Well, I think that's my comment.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
I'll say Williamson, he's been looking so good. He's been getting so close to stringing together like all these great, he's doing great with these pitch sequences. In the last start, he did do very well up until the point where he had that disengagement / balk situation.
That was weird.
Mentally threw him off. So you see him getting, closer and closer to having the confidence to be on that mound. And that's, hopefully keeps trending in the direction that he's going.
Yeah, and even when that happened and he got shook, he still had 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 6 hits, no walks, 5 Ks. He had a 20% called strike whiff rate too.
Yeah, but no walks is really big for
It's
him.
huge because that was his problem starting out the year in AAA and working his way up to the big league squad.
And having that confidence working in, I think, too, for him.
And that's young guys.
Yep.
That's what it is. If you have a young team, you got to get them out there. You got to see what you got and let them work through it. There's no other way to do it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And but the difference between us and you is you guys can actually throw money at the problem.
If
they want to.
Yeah, if they want to, yeah.
We can't. If we have one Mike Moustakas, it sinks us.
Yeah, and then it's over. Yeah.
Fucking fatty. Did you know that Mike Moustakas had a gun in his folds when he was here? Pretty fucking cool. So yeah, I think the best solution, I think the best outcome for us anyway would just be split. Just a 2-2 split with this series at home. Keep on track. Hope that the Diamondbacks lose and the Giants lose. Hoping for other teams to lose is not a winning strategy.
Yeah, and that's kind of where we're at right now because Milwaukee has been hot until very recently. We just beat them 2-3. And then
How'd you do that? We have never.
Accidentally.
Yeah, what'd you do?
We
couldn't figure it out.
Like we just didn't allow runs. I don't know what happened.
Scoring runs,
that's
What's
a novel
that?
concept.
Not even a lot. You don't even have to score a lot of runs. So you just have to score like 1, and then it's fine, I guess.
Yeah, I heard a rumor that
worked out anyway.
I heard a rumor when you were at American Life Field that the Bat Boy ran out and just put cheese curds behind the pitching mound.
Yeah,
Distracted Corbin Kurtz.
Yeah.
It would work for me, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we put sneezing powder in Bernie's mustache wax.
I'm trying to think, who was the players that they left out like bubble gum, like at second base for them to come back, but it's just like cheese curds.
It's just they replaced first base with a bowl of ranch.
Yeah, I'd like to play out there then.
I would too. So yeah, let's we're running out of time here. So let's round third, head for home, shut this down, do some trivia, give out some in the clutch gift cards, and then you want to play some?
Yeah, I'll play a couple of.
Play some shit.
I've tried to keep it not as Cubs specific. The songs I'm gonna play. They're like, for example, we can all agree that Rob Manfred hates baseball.
Correct.
So I'll play that song. And we can all agree to fuck the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll sing along.
Well, the thing is the 2,000 of the 4,000 here are Cubs fans. So I think you're attacking a pretty good demo here. Either way. So let's round third and head for home. Chris, what do you got coming up, buddy?
I had to write it down. September 4th, I'll be in Louisville at Planet of the Tapes. If you are there, so will I. September 7th, we're going to be at Lost and Found, baby.
That's right, baby.
And Cincy, if you'll be there, it's a fun spot. It can be a great show. Also, another Cincy show, September 23rd at Comet. That is a super fun bar and music venue. And then also, September 30th, I'll be at the Brick Room in Noblesville, Indiana. So if you're out there, get at me.
That's a great spot.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Nice.
Danny, what do you got?
All right, well, I am the leader of the Bleacher Bum Band.
Yes.
And we got a lot of Cubs songs that we've recorded. And you can find those on any of your streaming sites, your Spotify's, your YouTube Music's, your Pandora's, good old-fashioned CDs. You can...
Ooh, baby.
I'm that old.
Stream Stream your CDs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stream your CDs up.
Stream D.
But just check out the Bleacher Bum Band. I also have a podcast called The Sun Ranto Show. You can Google all that stuff. And
I've been on it a lot.
Yeah, you've been on all the time. So so just check out all my stuff there, and that's it.
I have one thing to plug. It's very important. A Sky Rosa Malort Luge. I think we need to try this.
I think we should.
I think it's time.
Yeah.
So we'll do this and get it on film, get it on audio, so you can just hear me going, oh my God, fuck. So it's beautiful.
This is, by the
Oh,
way,
my
this is
goodness.
not. Oh wait, I get one too.
Oh yeah.
We all get one. Oh, baby.
Give it over Kill, everybody! Yeah! Oh boy, this is exciting.
This is not.
Oh God.
Get away from
Is
any
this
sort.
legal in this state?
Okay, so I'm gonna, you know what? Totally worth it.
Everybody stand up in a line. I'm gonna go down.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're
Oh, well, I
recording
need to
now.
adjust the camera real quick then.
Alright.
Yeah!
This is gonna be rough.
So it's basically I'm losing this thing.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
it's like-
Just like that.
Oh man. Already clogged the toilet once today.
Oh, who's ready to clog her again?
All right, we ready?
Yeah. How do you?
Alright.
Where do you want me to?
I'm gonna do
Oh, we have
a
okay.
shot down each. I'm gonna go down the line here. I'm gonna
Okay.
run around.
Maybe
I'll
move back so you have room to get through.
Okay.
We have to pre-plan this thing.
Yes.
Right, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Great job, boys. All right.
I've done a lot of foul shit in my life.
Billy shake.
And this isn't it. It's amazing. It's so good. It's so good.
I highly recommend this, guys. It's great. You're gonna love it. Order one at the bar.
That's what this bar is all about. Cincinnati, Chicago
So
collaboration.
Yeah.
let me just get this right here. Kind of what this.
Oh.
Not bad.
It really isn't.
Cheers,
Oh
buddy.
man.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Oh.
Hi.
Oh, that's something.
Thank God for Prilosec.
Oh, that's the podcast, baby.
Yeah. Now let's do the outro here. So we did it. That was the Sky Rosa Malort Luge. I think I just felt a callus form on my liver.
It's like oil and water in my stomach right now. There's so many fights happening. Oh, this is terrific.
This is wonderful.
Where's the bathroom, by the way? Just right over there?
Right over there.
All right, terrific.
So thanks to Vinsky's Bar for having us. This is awesome. Thank you to In the Clutch for being one of our sponsors. If you don't need MLB PA shirts, Chicago baseball, Cincinnati baseball, any baseball, including Savannah Bananas, Negro Leagues, check out our website. Use the promo code NASTYBOYS, all caps, to get 10% off your order. Pretty rad. This shirt's from In the Clutch. It's on
This shirt's from In the Clutch. This Morel shirt. Right here with this cool
Yeah.
eye black looking like a tiger. Kind of looks like a Kiss album.
that was the whole thing. Destroyer the Kiss album.
My Dusty Baker, that was special order.
Nice.
This is on Comfort Colors. It's really nice. So, and it's Joey Votto doing the wrestling promo against Mad Dog. So, and fuck Mad Dog, that buffoon. Idiot. And thank you to Sports Drink for being a coffee shop that hosts our podcast.
Thank you.
That's something. And thank you guys for coming and watching.
Thank you,
We really
everybody.
appreciate it.
Audience for hanging out.